Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahabushai, Bahashum, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashum, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. Now I'm going to start it off in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 1. And as the header reads, Edom will be humbled. And the biblical Edomites are known today as these so-called white people. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Hey, that ambassador is the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this online. And as we get closer and closer to the end of things, if you've got your spiritual eyes and ears open, you can clearly see that the spirit of Yahweh Bahasham Yahabushai is dwelling on the men of GMS, or Great Millstone. And hey, the men of the Lord are sent as those ambassadors to what? Break down these scriptures and let everyone, not just the heathens, but our own people know what times we're living in. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And another thing that's taken place in these last days is these different heathen nations, rising up against the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, especially in the West. These Western European powers and America at the head of it, which is what, over the last 500 or so years, been on that colonization, kick, taking over people's lands, taking over people's resources, and, setting up, military bases in their countries, and, having this economic system, having everything on lock to where if you try to go against it, hey, you'll get sanctions on you, and what? You could face having a military campaign against you to overthrow your sovereign leaders and set up puppets who are sympathetic to the West. But what are we seeing now? Alternatives like the BRICS as a counterbalance to, those Edomites in the West. Verse 2, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And, that's talking about two things. These Edomites are actually the global minority, and then on the other hand, their reputation is being made small amongst the heathen, and they're being greatly despised because, again, these nations are rising up against Esau and, bringing up his past history of colonization and war and theft and, looking for those alternatives to get away from him and rejecting him. But I opened up the video with these verses to preface an article on the JerusalemPost.com titled, It's About 7 billion people against 15 million ooze. Israel's challenge in the social media war. And those people over in the Holy Land right now aren't the true children of the Most High. The true children of the Most High are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. Those people over there, who for the rest of the video I'll be referring to as the 1948ers, are Edomites, specifically of the tribe of Amalek. And especially with this recent war in Gaza, what have we seen? A lot of people turn against the 1948er state and side with the Palestinians. And not just that, but a lot of these things, that were considered fact in the past in regards to these 1948ers are being questioned, especially their validity as being the children of the Most High. And that goes back to Obadiah 1 verse 2. I have made thee small amongst the heathen, your reputation small. Thou art greatly despised. A lot of people are waking up to the fact that you aren't, the true children of the Most High. And it's going to become even more evident as we get closer and closer to the end that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the children of Israel. And what's mainly been pushing that message? Hey, those are ambassadors sent amongst the nations, the prophets out there breaking down these scriptures in 144% truth, clarity, and accuracy. So with Esau, especially Amalek, with his foot on the back burner, so to speak, what do you think is going to come? More and more censorship of social media online, which is going to play into the famine of the word to try to keep the truth and prophecy from going out. But hey, it's too late for you Amalekites, and it's too late for you Edomites as a whole. But let's get into this article. Aviva Klampus discusses the challenges of pro-1948er advocacy and social media misinformation, which we can put that in quotes, in the latest episode of 1948er Unpacked, Myths versus Reality podcast, hosted by J-Post's Diaspora Affairs correspondent, Mike Starr. Aviva Klampus, CEO and co-founder of Boundless 1948er, shares her insights on the complex communication landscape surrounding the 1948ers. As a seasoned activist and former speechwriter for the 1948ers at the United Nations, which the United Nations is nothing more than a front by the elites to push their global agenda, Klampus offers a candid discussion about the pro-1948er camps' challenges, particularly in combating misinformation and breaking out of echo chambers. Now listen to this. The biggest mistake we can make is assuming that just because we're right, everyone will see it that way. Hey, that's the pride of you devils. You think that just because you say it, that you're correct on everything. But as we can clearly see, as this truth is going out, hey, everybody is being exposed to your lies, your wickedness, and your deceit. More and more people are learning about the Rothschilds and how that banking family has manipulated major events on this earth. And what are they? Amalekite Edomites. And they're learning that you are not, the true children of the Most High, that you're converts and Edomites from Eastern Europe who, got that land into your possession, laying the groundwork with the Balfour Declaration in 1917, and then later cementing the deal with, your Declaration of Independence and UN charters in 1948. Read Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 5, which, I'll get that real quick. And this is all, documentation you can look up. This is Ezekiel 36, verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which is just the Greek way of saying Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession. The Balfour Declaration, the Declaration of Independence, and other UN treaties in 1948, with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. And to those that are watching this video, I'm going to give you a little challenge to do. Go to any video dealing with the 1948ers, Hollywood, the situation with Gaza, or anything like that. Go to a YouTube video, a social media platform like Instagram or TikTok, and go to the comments and see how many people are waking up to the BS. You Edomites don't fit anything dealing with the prophecies of what would be taking place when the children of Israel were back in the land. There would be no more war, for one, and the laws, statutes, and commandments would be going out from the land, and these heathen nations would be flowing unto the children of Israel to learn of their ways, which we're clearly not seeing. You've got Tel Aviv over there, which is known as a pink city, which is one of the pride hotspots on the face of the earth. They've got a parliament and a government with laws that are separate from the scriptures. The list goes on and on. But remember what Aviva Klampus said. The biggest mistake we can make is assuming that just because we're right, hey, you ain't right according to shit. Back in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3, The pride of thine heart or mind have deceived thee. Hey, for the last 500 or so years, you've been getting away with your lies. So you thought you were just going to sail off into the sunset. But, hey, everybody's waking up to the deception. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And hey, you got a lot of these Edomites that still think, especially those Amalekites, that they're never going to go down. That what? Things are just going to continue as normal. America's going to come to our defense, etc., etc. But that's not the case. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And what nation of people has always been known for using the eagle as their symbol? Look at Rome, Nazi Germany, the United States of America, you Edomites. And when you go to Mount Seir, which they call it Mount Petra today, over in the Middle East, and you look at it, what do they have carved into the walls? Eagles. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, what? Houston, we have landed. Even though you Edomites never went to the moon, you were allowed to go so far into low orbit space. Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. And we can see, hey, you're being made small amongst the heathen, and everybody's starting to turn against you and call you out on your BS. That's why they're coming with this damage control campaign, talking about simulationism and misinformation online, and what we can do to stop the hate. Down here in New Orleans, they got a billboard out here, which until recently, I just thought it was talking about, so-called discrimination and hate in general. But it's a billboard that says no hate in our city. And then when you look at the top right corner, you've got the Star of Remphram, or, the Star of David, as they call it, with a pelican, or no, the Saints symbol in the middle of it. So it's a 1948er ad talking about what? Stopping the hate, stopping the anti-simulationism. Why is that? Hey, because you're on the back foot, because you are getting exposed by this truth, and it's eating you up. Which, this is Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain. And, mountains can be symbolic for governments. So, especially in the West, hey, and he will destroy in this mountain, or, these governments, the face of the covering cast over all the people, this deception, these lies, and the veil that is spread over all the nations, that what? You Amalekites are the true children of the Most High, that what? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans aren't, the children of Israel, etc., etc. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 4. Well, let me see. I'll start at verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, which already happened. What? You had the Northern Kingdom, or the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. After they left the Assyrian captivity, they came to the Americas, or Arsareth, in 2nd Esdras chapter 13. And, while they still had a lot of the customs and practices of Israel, they started becoming those different civilizations, the Mayans and the Aztecs, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Apaches. And then you had the Southern Kingdom after 70 AD fleeing to Western Europe, fleeing to Europe in general, which, led to the so-called Dark Ages, and into Western Africa. And then you had the transatlantic slave trade, which brought the Southern Kingdom to the Americas, and colonization, where the Northern Kingdom was enslaved by you Edomite, European, Spaniard conquistadors. And, our heritage and our identities, what was left of it was beaten out of us to where we're Mexican, Black, African American today. But now that great awakening has taken place, where the children of Israel, beginning with the elect, are coming back to their identity. And what? That's exposing that lie and that covering cast that's been over all the people for these last 500 or so years. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And the top tribe of the Edomites are you Amalekites. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High. And Esau Edom's entire system is what? In opposition to the Most High. They want to label the Bible as a fairy tale. And what? They push their pseudosciences, that theory of evolution. The earth's been around for millions of years, billions of years, all that bullshit. And even a lot of those Amalekite Edomites are atheists. And again, back in the scriptures, when the true children of Israel were back in the land, the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures would go forth. Just complete madness. Or that is worshipped. So that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, shewing himself that he is the Most High, which began with what? Iconoclasm, that Renaissance or rebirth art, where they painted over the dark images of the Most High, his son, the children of Israel, and the angels, and made them look like Edomites, Caesar Borgia, or so-called Jesus Christ. And those Amalekite Edomites have been running heavily with trying to shew themselves as the people. And also now, you've got that devil who's a 1948er, Noah Yuval Harari, who's a crony of K. Schwab of the WEF, saying, look, we no longer need a God. We're going to become gods because of our technology. They're trying to shew himself as the Most High, sitting in the temple of the Most High. And again, that Noah Yuval Harari guy, he's a 1948er, but he's also an atheist and an alphabet person. Madness. But that's it with that verse. Let's get back to that article. I'll close out some stuff. The biggest mistake we can make is assuming that just because we're right, hey, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, everyone will see it that way. But hey, thou art being made small amongst the heathen. Klompus said, she notes that pro-1948er advocates often fall into the trap of preaching to the choir rather than reaching out to those who may not be as informed or sympathetic. But hey, with that covering cast and that veil being lifted, many people are becoming much more informed on the true information, not on the real misinformation, which has been the official narrative. We've got to get out of our echo chambers and speak to people who aren't already in our corner, she added. Listen to this. Klompus mentioned the impact of social media algorithms, which often amplify anti-1948er content while muting opposing viewpoints. She explained how platforms like TikTok, which TikTok has been coming with a lot of heat, exposing, the deceptions of the powers that be, can become breeding grounds for misinformation, where anti-1948er narratives are spread not just by genuine users, but by inauthentic accounts and bots designed to manipulate public opinion. These aren't just random posts. There's a coordinated effort to sway perceptions, especially among younger audiences, she warned. Yeah, but that's it with this article. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And when you look at these Amalekites, these 1948ers, they're some of the richest people, the richest people on the face of the earth. Who's behind Hollywood? Who's behind the music industry? The Rothschilds are into the banking, etc., etc. And they're definitely not going through tribulation or poverty right now. But who is? And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the first fired, the last hired, and always looked at as the problem in society. The thugs, the whores, a nigger, a spick, a tonto, etc., etc. But thou art rich, because you are the children of the Most High, and we are almost out of this final captivity under the heathen nations, where we're going to be back in our rightful place, ruling over the heathens, ruling this earth in the eternal kingdom of heaven. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are JOOs. And who's been saying that? Amalek. What did we just read about in that article? And are not and all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, 2 Thessalonians, who sheweth himself as the Most High, sitting in the seat of the Most High, but are the synagogue of Satan, and who has a synagogues out here. And also, you can find plenty of quotes out here with those RABBIs. One guy I can think about is a guy named Finkelstein, who said that our God is Satan. So, hey, Esau, Edom, hey, the game's up out here. That's why you're scrambling for damage control out here to what? Heavily censor the internet and take opposing viewpoints off the internet, and eventually come against those that come against the official narrative physically. And your main target is going to be the men of the Lord, the prophets. But this is Isaiah chapter 29. I'm going to start at verse 18. And in that day shall the deaf, the spiritually deaf, hear the words of the book, the scriptures, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. That veil and that covering cast being lifted, and the elect of the nation of Israel coming back to their power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. Why? Because I know thy works, and thy tribulation, and thy poverty, but thou art rich. Hey, we found out that we are the children of the Most High, and what? That this society isn't the end-all, be-all. We're royalty. We're kings, kangs, as these Edomites like to make fun of, but we truly are. And we're going to be back in power, and those that afflicted us are going to be underneath our feet. Verse 20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, beginning with this word going out and exposing everything, as it says in Matthew 24, verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, which it has been through the unicorn or the internet, and then shall the end come. And what did that article just say? We've got to combat anti-1948er misinformation on social media, the internet, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word. That's misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, anti-simulationism, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, setting up all these bills and legislations to where, what? They cut your content off the internet, and then what? Eventually label you as a threat to society and arrest you. What's going on over in the UK right now? Even though that's dealing with, those race riots going on, and people complaining about immigration and those Muslims, what's happening to those Edomites that speak up about it? They're getting arrested for it, for hate speech. And turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Close it out in Amos chapter 8, verses 11 to 13, because these are the times we are quickly coming into. Hey, I've had to speak in codes throughout this video and my past videos, just like many brothers have to, or what? The YouTube algorithms will pick it up and cut the video, which, Yahweh Ratazah. Hey, that's not the case with this lesson. But this is Amos chapter 8, verses 11 to 13. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, though food shortages and famines are coming as well, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. The famine of the word where the men of the Lord are no longer going to be on the highways and byways preaching, and these video epistles are no longer going to be online. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst, that spiritual thirst, all hell breaking loose. And what? The wicked of our people, who spent this time of liberty scoffing at the word, looking for the word, but not able to find it, and what? Have to take that judgment that comes with it, as it says in 2 Esdras chapter 9, and they shall know it after death by pain. So to you sincere Akim and Akwat out there, hey, keep drinking from these rivers of living waters while you still can, because as we can see, that spigot is about to get turned off. So with this video, I hope you were edified. And again, as always, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Slaki. Yeah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim and Akwat out there. Shalom.